This thing is due in 2 days. I am finished. Well guys, this is where procrastination leads you to. 4 days into the new year and I might already be cooked. I've got a big RobotStudio project that I have to make. It's basically this whole production line thing that I have to do with Cybertrucks. This is just me documenting that whole process. Of course, I'm not going to go into extreme detail because I still need to lock in. I do not have much time left. This is not the only thing that I'm working on, but it's the only thing that I might just document. So yeah, time to lock in and see whether I get cooked or not. Okay, let's go. Alright, so the first thing that I've gone and done is made a little plan. The whole idea of this project is that the chassis of the truck spawns in. I'm supposed to add the battery modules, the whole battery pack, the battery cover, wheels, and the windshield. And then that's it. And so I have to create a full process of at least 4 trucks being assembled. I want to try to keep this as simple as possible. So I've just gone and added as many robots as I could. I don't want to have to deal with switching tools, stuff like that. You know, I just don't want to deal with that. Yeah, I'm going to have to work with quite a lot of smart components, which is going to be quite annoying because I'm very new to smart components. It's pretty late at night right now, so I'm going to get some sleep and I'm going to come back here tomorrow and we'll continue working on this thing.
The next day.
So it's been almost a day since I made that plan. I have now gone and done this. It doesn't look that great. It's all right, I guess. So here's the whole point of this, right? This part over here is where the truck spawns. Then this robot here gets the batteries and it puts it into the battery cover. Then this one picks it up and then puts it into the battery slot over here. Then after that, the truck moves over here. These robots then pick up the tires and put it onto the truck. The battery cover will then be placed onto the truck by this robot. And then the windshield will then be placed onto the truck by this robot. I was already provided with the CAD models of all of the tools. I just have to go and configure the tool center point and then attach it to all of these robots. I just need to make sure that this production line can make at least 1 truck. Then I get the bare minimum for passing. And if I get that done early, then I can work on refining it and trying to get higher grades. I'm just gonna go and work on the tools for a bit, gonna attach them all to the robots, and then we'll continue working on this tomorrow.
The next day.
Here's the thing, I'm missing one very important thing.
Huh?
So, I am cooked beyond cooked, I believe. I spent the last few days just trying to figure out how smart components work. And when I tried making some basic smart components for another assignment that I have to submit, I lost my mind. There was no way I was going to make a ton of smart components for this project. Not a chance. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm using events instead. So here's what I have made so far, and this is pretty bad. I wasted a lot of time just trying to get smart components to work. And the only thing that I have to show for this project 2 days before it's due is this. I can only assemble the tires right now. For this project, I need to add the windshield, I need to assemble the battery pack together, which is going to be a lot of work, and I need to add the battery cover. I don't think that the windshield and the battery cover are going to be too complicated. But I believe that the battery pack, yeah, that's where I think I'm going to lose my mind again and I might crash out. And this thing is due in 2 days. I am finished. I am going to power through and get as much as I can done. One of the requirements of the bare minimum to pass this project is just add a smart component. I'm going to add some smart components somewhere. I know that my smart components are not very smart, just like how I am not very smart, unfortunately, but I will include one somewhere. This is like the most basic thing, and I hate that I am at this stage 2 days before this is due. This sucks, man. I'm very disappointed in myself. But I put myself through a lot of torture by trying to learn how smart components work. Onwards and upwards. I'm going to keep working on this.
6 hours later.
Progress report. I've done more in 1 day than I have in the last 5. Look at this. I have now added this robot, which brings up the back cover and then puts it on there. I've also added this robot that does all of this battery cell placement. So it gets every battery cell and places it inside the battery cover. Now all that's left is to add one more robot over here that picks up this entire battery cell and places it in the car. So my first thought is that I have to somehow make the battery container a smart component and then pick that up with the robot by simply making the robot tool a smart component as well. It's going to be very annoying to deal with because every time I've worked with the smart component in the last week, it's just gone horribly wrong. Tomorrow's the last day that I want to work on this, and after that, I am going to submit it. Even though I plan to technically finish it a day earlier, I think it's better to do that because I have a lot of exams to study for. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some sleep and then I'm gonna finish this off tomorrow.
The next day.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I did it. It's done.
I did it!
The day before it's due. It's nothing blockbuster. In fact, this setup is the bare minimum. Here is the full setup. And so there were two smart components that I ended up creating for this big battery pack. And the first one was this tool right here. Now this is a simple attacher-detacher tool. So when the signal comes in via DI attach, it will just simply execute an attacher off the battery base and bam, the battery base is attached. So when it's time to detach, I would knot the signal of DI attach and bam, detacher is executed. So that smart component was very simple. That is as easy as smart components get in RobotStudio. Now here is the second smart component, and you might be wondering what on earth have I done over here? This is mental. Well, guess what? Whenever I was placing these individual battery modules into the battery case, a lot of these modules weren't getting attached to the battery case. And basically when I'm supposed to pick up the entire battery case with all of the modules inside, it's supposed to attach to the tool and then be placed into the truck. The problem was only the battery case was being picked up. So to attach them to the main battery case, I added a bunch of sensors. Now normally, one plain sensor should work. Normally, I would just select this one plain sensor right here. It would sense the part and then an attacher to the main battery base would be executed. I thought it would be that simple. But no, sometimes RobotStudio components do not want to listen. So I added a bunch of line sensors as well. I added 9 line sensors and a plane sensor. And then I just kept triggering all of them. I'm like, you have to be stuck. You are going to be attached to the battery base whether you like it or not. That was basically what I was trying to do with this second smart component. And you know what? As chaotic as it looks, in the end, it worked. And so as you saw in the simulation video, the battery modules would get attached to the battery base and that would then be picked up to be placed into the truck. Overall, I feel like I have learned a lot about smart components and I will definitely be able to use them in the future if I have to use RobotStudio for a future project. But yeah, that is pretty much how those smart components work. I can assemble a Cybertruck. Let's go. That's pretty much the end of this project. I'm gonna go and submit this and hopefully I come back with a passing grade.
Later.
Hello there, this is me 2 weeks into the future. I passed.